There's something that happens to new single mothers in the first few weeks after giving birth that nobody talks about. Not your doctor. They check the baby's weight and send you home. Not your family. They're too busy holding the baby and taking photos. Not the internet. It's all nursery aesthetics and enjoy every moment. Nobody talks about it, and it nearly destroyed me before I even had a name for what was happening. Let me start with the biology, because understanding this might literally save your life. When you're pregnant, your body is flooded with hormones, estrogen and progesterone at levels 50 to 100 times higher than normal. They keep you stable. They keep the baby safe. They keep you functioning even when you're exhausted. And then, within the first 48 to 72 hours after giving birth, those hormones crash, not decline. Crash. They plummet like someone pushed them off a cliff, and your brain, which has been running on those hormones for 9 months, suddenly has nothing. The floor drops out. That crash is what causes what most people casually call baby blues. The crying, the mood swings, the feeling like the world is ending even though nothing is wrong. For most women, the baby blues lift within 2 weeks. But for single moms, women who are recovering from childbirth alone, with no emotional support, no partner, no one to debrief with at the end of the day, the blues don't always lift. Sometimes they deepen, and that deepening is where the real danger lives. Single mothers are at significantly higher risk for postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. This isn't speculation. It's documented across hundreds of studies. And the reasons are straightforward. You're experiencing one of the most physically and hormonally devastating events of your life, and you're doing it in conditions of extreme isolation, extreme stress, and extreme sleep deprivation. That's a perfect storm. Your brain is already chemically vulnerable, and then you add loneliness, financial worry, and the relentless pressure of being the only adult responsible for a helpless infant. The hormonal crash alone would be manageable with support. Without support, it becomes a catalyst for something much darker. And here's why so many single moms miss it. You think it's just stress. You think, of course I'm crying all the time. I'm exhausted. You think, of course I feel hopeless. I'm doing this alone. You rationalize every symptom because your situation genuinely is stressful. But there's a line between situational stress and clinical depression, and that line gets blurry when your situation is this intense. Here are the signs you might be crossing it. You can't sleep even when the baby sleeps. You feel nothing when you look at your baby. Not anger, not love, just blankness. You have intrusive thoughts, dark, scary thoughts that don't feel like yours. You can't eat or you can't stop eating. You feel like the baby would be better off without you. You can't remember the last time you felt any positive emotion. If any of those resonate, this isn't stress. This is your brain telling you it needs help. Let me tell you about the night it hit me. My daughter was 3 weeks old. It was about 11 p.m. She was sleeping, actually sleeping for once. And instead of sleeping too, I was sitting on the kitchen floor with my back against the fridge, and I was thinking about what would happen if I just left. Not left permanently, just walked out the door and drove somewhere, anywhere, away from the crying and the bottles and the loneliness and the weight. I didn't want to hurt myself. I didn't want to hurt her. I just wanted to not exist for a while, to pause, to not be a mother for 24 hours. And then the guilt hit me. Because what kind of mother thinks about leaving? And I started crying so hard I couldn't see. And nobody came. Nobody heard me. Nobody checked on me. Because nobody was there. That was the night I realized this wasn't baby blues anymore. This was something bigger than I could handle alone. And here's the real danger. The thing that nearly broke me completely. Silence. Not the silence of the apartment, although that's brutal too. The silence of not telling anyone. Because I was terrified that if I said out loud, "I think I have postpartum depression," someone would take my baby away. I was convinced that admitting I was struggling meant I was admitting I was unfit, that a social worker would show up, that my ex would use it against me. So I stayed silent for weeks. I smiled at the pediatrician appointments. I told my mother I was fine on the phone. I posted pictures on social media of me and the baby looking happy. And behind the screen, I was dying. And I need you to hear me clearly. Postpartum depression does not make you an unfit mother. Telling a doctor you're struggling does not result in someone taking your baby. What actually happens when you tell someone is this: they help you. They prescribe medication if needed. They connect you with therapy. They check on you. They treat you like a human being who is going through something difficult, because that's exactly what you are. The full postpartum recovery framework, the daily healing system, the nervous system reset techniques, the complete plan for pulling yourself back from the edge while still being the only parent your baby has, goes much deeper than one video. I put everything into a guide because I needed it during the worst weeks of my life, and nothing like it existed. If you're in the dark right now, the link is in the pinned comment with the heart. And if you need help right now, tonight, here are numbers that exist for exactly this moment. Postpartum support. International helpline 1-800-9404-4773. Crisis text line, text HOME to 741741. 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. These are free, confidential, and staffed by people who understand exactly what you're going through. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are a mother whose brain chemistry was pushed past its limits by a situation that would break anyone. Please reach out. Comment "not alone" if this is you right now. Just those 2 words. Because sometimes knowing that someone else is going through it at the same time is enough to get you through the night. Subscribe, because I'm going to keep having these conversations. Hit that like so the mama who's sitting on her kitchen floor tonight can find this and know she's not crazy. She's not weak, she's human, and there is help.